The GLAMA stuff is all down here. These two aisles are all GLAMA material. And you don't see this level of response, usually, when you start a collecting initiative. They tend to grow much more slowly. And this is the visual representation of the amazing response on the part of the community, the local community. This is one of the 2 volumes of scrapbooks that came to us from Spirit of Hope. Spirit of Hope MCC Church housed the scrapbooks, these amazing scrapbooks that were put together by Phyllis Schaefer, who was the mother of Drew Schaefer, who founded the Phoenix Society, Kansas City's first gay and lesbian advocacy group. It's a collection of newspaper clippings, of other kinds of paper ephemera. So here's the headline from the Kansas City Star in 1978, when Harvey Milk was assassinated. Both the Times and the Star. A lot of stuff from around the church. So when there were commitment ceremonies at the church, she taped those in here. Just a wide range of stuff. She was a thrifty gal and reutilized these wallpaper sample books. And so not only is it an amazing historical record, but it is an incredible sculpture. It's really, really amazing. This banner, that was the banner that was in front of the Kansas City contingent that marched in the 1993 March on Washington. A woman from Iowa, Artie Veet, brought it to us. She was a photographer back in the day, and she attended a lot of political events. Then she had this thing that was rolled up, and I thought, well, I don't know what that is. And we unrolled it, and literally I about wet myself because I didn't know anyone had this. And the fact that it's autographed by scores of individuals who were at the march or who were supporters of the folks who were at the march was incredible to me. I had no idea this thing existed. A collection that relates to both of these objects, actually, is this collection. This comes to us from Bill Todd and Art Bratt. They were both activists back in the late 80s, early 90s. They spearheaded the resurgence of pride festivals. Mr. Bratt, who was hilarious, by the way, was a scrapbooker, like Mrs. Schaefer. And when I went to visit him, he said, I think I've got something for you. Let me take you upstairs. And so he showed me his workspace, and there was a bookshelf full of about 35 2-inch notebooks, full of this kind of stuff. Exactly what Mrs. Schaefer had done. Scrapbooks of newspaper articles, media coverage, in large part early on the AIDS crisis. And then as local and national media coverage expanded to include other facets of LGBT politics and life, he would clip that stuff and incorporate it into his scrapbooks. What's amazing is Mrs. Schaefer's scrapbooks start in the mid-60s and go up to the mid-80s. Mr. Bratt's scrapbooks start in 85, and he died in 2016. And so we have this incredible 50-year record of print media coverage of LGBT issues from these 2 incredible individuals. That's why I always come back to every piece, no matter how small, contributes to the overall story. And particularly in a community like this, where we're trying to generate the documentation that tells our own history that has been ignored for eons.